So my brother-in-law texted me yesterday and asked me if I could help him with his new Crane M2. That's a little gimbal. In fact, I've got one. And this thing is awesome. It's super compact, super easy to use. It's for the use of small cameras and phones. And you can get some really nice looking footage out of it. It's very user friendly, but many times people think when they buy a gimbal that straight out of the box, it's just going to give them the look that they want. That's not the case. And so my brother-in-law said he's having some difficulty getting started. So today I'm going to take a look and see what's happening. Why is it not working the way it needs to for him? And see if we can actually, indeed, get him started. There he is. How you doing, buddy?
Literally, I'm like, okay, like unscrewing this and trying to put it all together, and I'm like trying to insert the plate. I'm like, all right, this ain't working out.
Right.
And then literally, I watched the one video. The guy's like, oh yeah, you got to make sure you like hold this down, and very carefully do this. I'm like, I don't know, like what you did, man.
Sure. When you were trying to use it, I guess, what was the issue that was happening? You just couldn't balance it, or what?
I just couldn't even get it connected. Yeah.
Oh, you mean like connecting that to the camera?
Yeah, like, yeah, I couldn't even figure out how to like screw this in.
Sure.
So I was like, yeah, I don't want to break this sucker. So, but Zhiyun, if you're out there, hit me with a sponsor.
So, which camera do you want to try this with?
So I want to know how you can switch from having it set up to the phone to like, say, a point and shoot, or, you know, whatever other camera it is.
Right.
Mirrorless. Yeah.
So, the quick switching isn't really gonna happen. You're talking about two different things with different shapes, different weights, and all of that. So like, once you get it balanced, doesn't mean it's going to be balanced for everything that you put on there. So I would typically just choose a certain camera that you're going to use the gimbal for.
Yeah.
Right? So ideally, I would say use your
Stick
phone.
with the phone.
Yeah. So let's just let it sit. So here, our balance is completely off, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just,
I mean, it might
not
work.
ready to do anything.
It might work just like this. Let's see. See, this is not what we want to have happen. Oh, okay. So that's the importance of balancing it. So it's not just ready right out of the box. So you want to go outside and test it out?
Yeah.
I brought my longboard, so.
Oh, okay.
I feel a little dorky. Look at this, look at this, look at us right now. I guess that's it. You just gotta own it. All right.
So for this shot, how should I start it?
So I would say start low like this. And so you're like, almost frame it up with this tree. And as I come running down here, you just pan follow with it and then raise up with it, because that's a pretty dynamic move. And I'm gonna run down this side.
I like, oh, good thing I didn't hit your camera.
It's is definitely winter, and I have not been running.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it just tells you like what you can do with it.
Yeah.
And we out here just vlogging, you know, making shots. Just for that good
I
old
love
pan
it.
frame.
People just watching us. What are
Like,
these jokers doing?
What are these hooligans doing? And we just out here with the Zhiyun Crane M2. You can pick this up on Amazon for $269. We have to use my use my link in the bottom, you know.
This is nice. You know what this is the equivalent of? Walking around the grocery store with the toilet paper in your arm. Have you ever done that?
Or yeah, it's like just the one item you need, and you're like kind of like you're holding
Yeah,
it like a
I feel like I need to grab something else.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah.
I'm also going to pick up a blanket while I'm here. I did bring this bad boy.
That wide angle looks so boss.
You got any ideas? Oh, that's amazing.
Hey, this is a vlog life right here.
Well, that's good. I like that. Oh man, my arm is getting tired.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's so heavy. Like, this is more like it's light, but you're trying to make sure you have a grip on it.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm running away. Oh. Well, yeah, it just gives you an idea of like what you can do.
Okay, so I'm going to show you now how to actually mount a phone to the M2. First, you're going to want to attach the tripod to the gimbal. This is just going to make it way easier. There's a reason it's in here, so definitely use it. I would just attach it anytime you're going to use the crane, because you can easily just set it down at any point. I'm going to pull that out. They've got a little screw in here that goes right there. You can see that. And that's going to screw into your phone mount here. Now, this screw also is what you use to mount to cameras. But for these purposes, for what we're doing right now, we're going to stick to a phone mount. This is your plate. This is what actually connects your mount to the gimbal. So keep that in mind. And that's all we need from that. Now, what we're going to do is just unlock everything here. We're going to loosen it on up. That's loose. I want to tighten some of these. Yeah. So that we can get it where the arm starts swinging. Once you get that out, I'd say put that to the side. And we're going to mount this bad boy. So how we set it up with Steve is obviously the phone screen here is going to act as your monitor. So you want to be able to see that. So when clamping this on, don't put this over your screen. So I'd position it like that with these screw mounts on the opposite side of the phone than the camera. So when you mount it here, it's going to stand up with the camera on this side. So now I have a nice clean screen and the mount's nice and sturdy on the back. I would suggest mounting this in the middle of your phone because that's where you're going to have the best balance. So once you figure out your positioning for your mount, then attach it to the plate. I'm going to choose the longer slot here because we don't want to bump into the arm. So once you have that mounted, it should look a little something like this. Now, let's go ahead and mount that to our gimbal. So we're going to just slide this on in here, and that'll click, and you're going to tighten it down. Now there's a lever down here on the bottom that's going to tighten the plate hold. So tighten that down so that plate isn't wanting to slip out. And now I'm going to just let it sit. The phone is obviously leaning this way. So that means we're going to want to move this back arm here, this back arm, over to balance that weight. So this is going to balance that left and right tilt. And you just kind of feel it out, test it. So we're getting better, right? I think I can go a little bit more. Yeah, right about there. Now I'm going to tighten that down. And now, as you can see, the phone's kind of leaning backwards. We want to adjust that by untightening the actual mount here on the plate and sliding the camera forward ever so slightly. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to tighten that back up. All right, we're looking good right now. Now I'm going to test this tilt. Okay, see that? See how that just drops down like that? That means my balance isn't quite set. So I'm going to untighten it here. And what you want to do is basically try to balance it so that the camera, so that your phone balances out. Okay, so right there it's all right. We can probably fine tune that a little bit more. So now we're at a point where it's going to run fine. Like, you don't have to get this thing completely zeroed in, but as long as you get to this point, you're going to be just fine. So we're going to power it on. All right. So the cool thing with this gimbal is it has a few really nice modes. Most gimbals have this pan follow mode, but I really like the responsiveness of the M2 here. There's also your lock mode, which will keep it completely locked in one direction. And then there's your POV. This means it's going to follow all of your movements, even some twists and turns like that. Now, another nice thing with this is when you're in the pan follow, you can use the joystick to control your tilt. But what I tend to do is I'll just hold this trigger down, and now it will actually follow my movements. And then when I let go, it will stay locked in that position, you know, at that tilt. And there's one more mode where if you double tap the M button back here for mode, it'll go into go mode. It's super fast, super responsive. It's cool. I don't really use it. I basically just bounce back and forth between the pan follow and the POV. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I plan on making more videos like this, so stay tuned. And hopefully you learned something. Hopefully I can encourage you to go out there and just try making something for yourself. Don't let technology intimidate you, but let it be something that inspires you. It's a tool to be used. And with anything, it takes practice, it takes time. Have fun while you experiment with these things, and I'll see you guys next time.